The Dallas Cowboys aren't just one move away from contention. With Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and one savage defensive fix, this team could explode into the NFL's most dangerous turnaround overnight.
All right, I'm going to say something that is going to sound insane, and it's not going to happen. But this is my favorite Jeremiah Love destination. And I think he's going to be gone by then, by all accounts. But the funny thing about running backs, guys, is, and this is so weird with this position, the way I feel is they're actually more valuable if you have a good offensive line and a good receiver core, because dropping it back like Jeremiah Love into this offense would be like what happened when Saquon Barkley ended up in Philadelphia, in my estimation. Whereas if you put him behind, I don't know, the Titans offensive line, for example, I don't think he would be as productive, and I don't think he would be as valuable. But this was already a top 5 offense, and I think if they had Love, it would just go nuclear. They have Javonte Williams, who's making like $8 million. So I don't think it's going to happen, but I do want to say, I would like to see it. It would be my favorite outcome.
The Eights has already figured out what Dallas is doing on night 1 in Pittsburgh, going defense from the SEC twice. Corner Jermod McCoy, ACL issues be darned. And edge rusher R. Mason Thomas from Oklahoma. It's been a while since Dallas went defense twice in round 1, 2005, but it went great. Hall of Famer DeMarcus Ware and our own Swagoo. Here's year 2 Cowboys head coach Brian Schottenheimer on Dallas's draft needs.
I think we did a really good job setting ourselves up to be able to draft natural and draft pure, which is what you want to do. You don't want to have to be forced to reach for a player. That's when you make mistakes.
Tim Hasselbeck, are you buying what Brian Schottenheimer's selling there?
I think it's true on the defensive side of the ball. I'm not totally positive that's right on the offensive side. Look, if there's a receiver there, I don't think they're taking him. But I do think it's true on the defensive side because, they could address all 3 levels of their defense. You go back, it's funny seeing that graphic on 2005. Look, if they went, edge rusher, interior defensive lineman, wouldn't it be terrible? If they went edge rusher, linebacker, edge rusher, secondary player, wouldn't be terrible. So I think I see all of that and think there is some truth to what Brian Schottenheimer is saying.
Yeah, I agree. I think it really comes down to the fact that they have so many needs. Like Tim said, you could draft at multiple positions on defense, and I wouldn't quibble with it. I don't think it's worth it for them to go up and get a player. I think the top 3 edges will likely be gone by then. But I will say this. Sonny Styles, to me, is the dream fit, both in terms of the best player of the position, the glaring need for Dallas. And if I'm them, I am praying that he gets out of the top 10 and falls to them at 12. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen. It seems unlikely after the Combine, but that, to me, would be the optimal outcome for Dallas.
Brian Schottenheimer may have talked about not needing to reach with any of those early picks. That part's not earth-shattering, but, Tim, something you alluded to, Schottenheimer did address and made some waves when he said he wouldn't rule out any position when Dallas is on the clock.
You want to be prepared to do what we need to do on defense, but certainly we're not going to pass on a great offensive player if they're there at one of those spots.
That's 12 overall, Bill Barnwell. Reflexively, it seems a little crazy Dallas would go offense that early. Is it?
Well, it's good that we've narrowed it down. The Cowboys are taking a defensive player or an offensive player. Brandon Aubrey's job is safe in Big D for another year. I do believe offense is in play here just because of the Cowboys' history. We give Jerry Jones some flack, I would say, for maybe getting distracted by shiny things. But look at their draft history. They lean into drafting offensive linemen in the first round. They have taken 3 of them in recent years. We're now starting up front for them. All the great Cowboys teams of the past 30 years have had great offensive lines. And I do look at right tackle where, you have Terrence Steele in the final year of his deal, most likely. He did sign an extension, but it's really a 1-year contract. Would the Cowboys consider an offensive tackle at 12? I do think that's a possibility if, as Mina said, maybe a Sonny Styles is not there. Maybe there's not a great defensive player for them. Could still go defense at 20, but maybe get a tackle at 12.
Now, they have Lamb on a long-term deal. We're waiting for the Pickens one to fall, but until then, they gave him the franchise tag. Here's the issue for the Cowboys, though. Great offense. Defense, ... The rankings are polar opposites. Offense was really, really clicking last season, and the defense just couldn't really get their feet under them. Last in points per game, last in passing yards per game. They were just kind of letting teams go up and down the field. So off of these stats, off of knowing what the Cowboys have accomplished this season and what they are trying to build towards, and second season for head coach Schottenheimer coming in, how does the Cowboys defense translate to success on the field this upcoming season? Mike Garafolo, you're up first.
35 sacks, Jamie, not enough. Now, there are other teams that had fewer sacks than the Cowboys, or in the Chiefs' case, tied with them at 35, that played much better defense. So sacks is not the be-all and the end-all. For Jerry Jones, the move to trade away Micah Parsons and bring in Kenny Clark was about stopping the run and being better in that department. And they've continued with Quinnen Williams to try to be more stout up the middle. The Rashawn Gary move, fine, gives them a little bit more presence there. They were in on Max Crosby. They were in on Max Crosby to the point where they were sort of going to give back some of, and then if you combine it with Quinnen Williams, all of basically everything that they have gotten for Micah Parsons, who they traded away, which you kind of say, well, why did you do that in the first place? Just do the deal with Parsons. You could have kept all those picks and could have continued to add to it. Whatever. That's already gone. That's already in the past to me. I'm picking up at that point and saying, oh, how did the Cowboys rebuild? They still need more. And that's why they were in on the Max Crosby thing. Yeah, they did the Gary trade, and that's going to help in that regard. But there's still more that needs to be done. This Cowboys team, and that's why they're being mentioned as possible suitors for Myles Garrett, which is not going to be the case. I'm going to get to that later in the show.
Okay.
But to me, have they done enough? No. And they need to do more, and they've got picks in this draft to make it happen. They have got to address that edge pass rush situation and get even better in that department.
Mm-hmm.
I just love when the show works out because Mike G, you're setting me up because I'm so in agreement with you. I think Max Crosby is a must. Cowboys, Jerry Jones, if you're listening, go get Max Crosby. And here's why. The best game defensively that the Cowboys had last year was versus the Raiders. And this was in the midst of a very tough situation for the Cowboys. This is when their team was very inspired. They had a purpose to play, and it translated. I mean, the team for the Cowboys for 3 straight games were lights out. The point that I'm trying to make here with Max Crosby is Max Crosby, as far as inspiring a team and bringing culture, he's the guy, because we know the Cowboys can do it. Some teams that didn't perform well, you're like, I just felt like I never saw a game that was put together. No, we saw them string together some really good games. Max Crosby's the perfect person, and I'll give you a specific example. I played with Max Crosby for a season and a half, and this is the type of guy he is. We would rotate on the D-line on Saturdays. You know, when we're meeting, somebody gives a little speech, get the guys fired up for the game the next day. It's Max Crosby's turn, and I'm not like a cry guy. Like, my version of crying is like, hey, guys, I think I'm going to cry, but that's where it kind of stops. So the only time that I got to this point was when Max Crosby was talking to us, and he's like, man, we're a bunch of misfits. We're a bunch of misfits. I'm a misfit. He goes through every single guy, literally one by one. Isaac, you know why you're a misfit? Because no other team in the league wanted you, and who signed you? The Raiders. Malcolm Kuntz, you know why you're a misfit? Every single guy. And that's the type of energy he would bring to the Cowboys that you can't put that in a stat. You can't explain that. And they need that type of just absolute inspiration to get them where they need to go. The pieces are there. Bring in Max Crosby and call it a day.
You know, I think I have to echo what everybody else was talking about. Defense is going to be the key here. The offense they're returning all the weapons. They're bringing them all back. They had a great offense last season. I think the offense can be better next season, honestly. I think it's going to be better in its second year under Schottenheimer as a head coach. You've got all the same weapons between Ferguson and Pickens and CD and Javonte all coming back. As long as Dak stays healthy, he gets the ball out quick, so I'm not really worried about him taking a bunch of sacks or anything like that. Doesn't turn the ball over a ton. The offense can be even better if everybody stays healthy in line. Now, the division is strong, and we'll get to that here in a little bit as well. But the key is the defense. And we're all talking about this D-line and getting Max Crosby and all these guys and Quinnen Williams and Rashawn Gary and now these ex-Packers coming in to make some plays. That's great, but they still got to beef up a secondary. They got linebackers they got to worry about. I mean, the defense has got to get better. Now, it did get a lot better the second half of the season. The Cowboys were a lot more competitive, I thought, than the first half of the season. But, I mean, they were getting torched. It was like any quarterback who would go against the Cowboys, they were just lighting them. I mean, you could see them. They were just lighting them up. There was nobody that was stopping anything that was happening against the Dallas defense. So they have to make that improvement. If they can, look, if we saw the ranks to start the thing, they were like dead last, last in almost everything. If they could even just give me get up to 20th, give me in the top 2/3, and they're going to be a competitive team when it comes time to look to January in the playoff.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mike G. And I just want to remind everybody watching who the Cowboys were kind of in the middle of the season. I mean, there was a point in the middle of the season where I'm like, shoot, I don't know how it's possible. I don't know who needs to lose, but this could potentially be a playoff team. They went on a little bit of a run. I think Seth brought up such a good point offensively. We know who Dak Prescott is. We know who these receivers are. We know what pieces they have. They're really not far from being a legitimate team in this division. And I love, Seth, not to just take all your points here, I love what you said. Literally, if they just jump to 20, if you're a 20th defense, they become remarkably better. And I just want to double down on this point. They need some guys, some veteran guys in this locker room to really elevate the passion on the defense. Because it's not like we didn't see them do it. I mean, they played, like I said, really good stretches on defense. They just need that next push. It could be another guy. It could be utilizing these draft picks. It could be bringing in a guy like Max Crosby, even though, Mike G, you think it's impossible. But just bringing in a guy like that to just elevate the passion in the room like he does, they're right there. They're in the mix for sure in this division.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason the Dallas Cowboys can't win this division. I mean, there's literally, barring some unforeseen circumstance, there's no reason they can't win this division. I think you're looking at, I mean, we kind of spelled it out there. You look at Philly. I mean, they're kind of just grandfathered into the top of the division, and then you've got Washington, and is Jaden Daniels going to be healthy for a full season? Because are we going to get rookie Jaden Daniels, who was, going to be the future of the NFL, or sophomore season Jaden Daniels, where didn't look great, and then but a lot of that plagued by injury as well. And then the Giants, they got a whole new situation going on there. And if everybody's healthy in New York, you expect them to be a lot more competitive. So I see absolutely no reason why Dallas can't be in the mix to win this division, if not a wild card at the end of the season. Again, all hinging on defense. And I know, Mike G, you said Crosby not going to happen, but look, if Jerry Jones gets his mind set on something, they got the picks.
Yeah.
They've got the picks there to make the thing happen. So we'll see. I mean, I never say never when it comes to Jerry Jones. I mean, trading Micah Parsons was bonkers. Replacing him with Max Crosby seems like a way to maybe make things right. Sure. I don't know. And they're also in a situation where, because they're so they got a lot of money on offense, they need to win now. They need to start winning now. Otherwise, these pieces are going to start moving around.
Yo, mic check 1 to 2, -1, -2. Game over for this video, folks. Smash that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe to stay in the huddle for more. This is NFL Madness, bringing the heat and signing out.